Hi, this is Sarah Quinn at the Help Pregnancy Center in Monroe, and I just wanted to take some time to share with you about our Banquet for Life that was held, unfortunately, the night of the hurricane known as Helena that came inland across our western part of the state, and there's been a lot of loss suffered, and we have been praying for them, and we will continue to do that. What we were amazed about was how many people that attended through what was really a lot of challenges with the weather. The rain was coming from all directions, so everyone was wet by the evening. We had water coming in under the tent, and it seemed like it wasn't going to work. And at one point, we were considering not hosting the event, but we felt that we were to continue, and I'm so glad we did. We've had amazing testimonies that have come out of that night, and for the guests that came out and persevered, I just am amazed at your commitment to the Lord and to the unborn. I would like to thank our sponsors for the evening: churches, individuals, Christian businessmen and women who are people of passion and purpose, people who care about the unborn, that want the message of Help Pregnancy Center to get out broader into the community. Some of you have been such long-term supporters. We are grateful for you. For the ones that are new and have just come on board, we are grateful for you as well. And I'd like to thank volunteers that came out and served the day ahead of getting things ready. They served that night. I had staff that served. Men from Ground 40, Wesley, came out and they did an amazing job. I also want to thank A Cause for Tea, who's a partner with the ministry. They provided a wonderful dessert for everybody there that night. And the list, I know I'm missing people, but so many servants were there. And I think it was a testimony to the body of Christ. I'd like to share with you some of the message of that evening. The last part of the I must came from the book of Acts, and it had to do with Paul. So when we were thinking about and challenged with the idea that we had to cancel our event, I contacted my pastor and church. I asked them to pray. We had other people in that position as well, and I was spending time in prayer while I was on my way to the venue to evaluate the severity of the rain, and it was a lot, and it was coming in the tent. We were having to address that, so many different things. I still had the peace of the Lord, and my pastor and them said, I believe you're supposed to move forward. And the Lord just spoke to me about this last I must. Paul had to go to Rome and to see Caesar. He was on a ship. They were in a 2-week storm. They go by night, by the stars is how they navigate. They couldn't see, they were lost. But in Paul's words, the Lord reminded me, and he said, how are you going to get up and speak this message if you're not willing to weather a storm? So Paul spoke, and he said, verse 24, he said, fear not, thou must be brought before Caesar. His I must was he knew that he would be brought before Caesar because it was part of his purpose. And so the Lord was saying, you're going to get up and talk about a man who knew that nobody could take his life or harm him when he was in that I must about what God's purpose was for him. And we knew that God said, I have a purpose for this night, even in the midst of a storm. Life is full of storms, whether they're real physical storms or situations we go through. The men and women we serve, the unborn that we stand in the gap for, they're in a crossroads of decision. They're in storms. And we're here to say, you must choose life because God really does have a plan for you and for this baby's life. So we were all challenged that night that we must. That fire in our bones has to be spoken about how important God's creation is. As Jesus told his parents, I must be about my Father's business. And I will say, The unborn is the Father's business. For some of you that weren't able to attend but wanted to, we want to offer the ability that you're still able to give. The vision that we shared that night is we are looking at the possibility of a new mobile unit, because we go to the busiest abortion clinic and one of them in the Southeast up to Latrobe 6 days a week. Lives are saved every week. That ultrasound unit makes a difference when mothers and fathers can see their baby's toes and fingers. And so the other part of vision, besides just that we've added 2 satellites in the past year and a half, and one in Indian Trail and one in Marvin, is about a nurse chat line where clients 24/7 could text or instant message with someone live to answer questions. Appointments can be set up. When the other side is available to make appointments 24/7, we have to have the same strategy that women can reach out and have an appointment the next day. We're excited about that possibility. So I would say you can go online to monroehelp.com and you can give online. You can send in a check if you want. You can come by and drop off a donation. If you've never seen our facility, if you'd like to call and make an appointment, we would love to schedule that and let you see what God's done. I will close in saying I had one letter written that stated the night was perfect. I found it was anything but perfect. But what it was perfect was God's presence was there, and that is what truly made it perfect. And we chose, in the middle of that physical storm around us, we chose to worship God in that. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this. And I challenge you with, I must do what for the unborn? Only you know that answer. Thank you so much. The unborn. We may do it different. We may adopt. We may be involved on sidewalk work. We may be involved with foster care. I got to sneeze. Biblical about life and the importance of life. And so...
You have got to be kidding me.
Oh, Esther.
You hit her. And why we are not, we do... They are people who support that, and that every bit that is given that night supports the vision of the ministry.